So here's the best way to upload YouTube videos directly from your phone. First thing you want to do is make sure you have the YouTube Studio app installed on your device, not just the YouTube app where you watch YouTube videos, but the actual YouTube Studio app where you can manage your backend YouTube analytics and performance and video library. So when you open the YouTube Studio app, you can hit the plus button on the top right corner, and then you can select whatever YouTube video you want to upload. So for this video, I'm going to select this video right here, and then instantly it's going to show you this interface where you can add some details. The first thing you'll want to do is create a title for your video. This was a studio desk tour, so I'll just title it that for the sake of this tutorial. And you can also click the icon in the top left corner to add a custom thumbnail to your YouTube video, which is going to make your video look a lot better, which we highly encourage you to add custom thumbnails. The next thing you'll add is the description. And rather than trying to input the description right here, I always work from a template. So we have a Think Media template that we've created with time codes and product links, everything right here, tags, calls to actions, all this stuff I have a template for, and then I just modify the first line of the description to match whatever the content of the video is about. So that's the way that I do it. So I would just paste that description in right here, and it saves me a ton of time. For your visibility, you can set it from public, which means as soon as you hit upload, that video will be live for the world to see, or you can select unlisted or even private if you only want you to be able to see it. And then you can also schedule for release at a specific time. Like we like to schedule our videos to go live at 5 or 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we do that for basically every upload. So if you want to schedule your content for release, you could do it this way. If your channel is monetized, this is where you can choose to turn on or off monetization. I'll just turn it on for the sake of this video. For audience, I'm going to select that no, my content is not created just for kids, and I'm not going to restrict the content to anyone under the age of 18 not being able to view it. Anybody can view this video. If you want to add a location where your video was shot, you could add that right here. Like for example, I'm from pretty near the Portland, Oregon area, so I could add that to my video right here. The next line would be add to playlist. So I'll add this to my video production playlist and hit done. If I feature some specific products in this video as well, I can search the YouTube shopping catalog for certain products to add. So I actually mentioned the FX30 in this video. So let's see if they have the FX30. There it is, Sony FX30, and I could add this to the video, tag it as a part of the inventory that is a part of my desk setup, and then viewers can, without leaving the YouTube app, click links to products via YouTube Shopping, and I can add those right here via the YouTube Studio app on a mobile device. If you want to allow other channels to remix your content and publish your content by the remix feature, you can allow that for your video and audio both, or you can just do your audio, or you can say don't allow remixing if you don't want people to remix your content. If your content is sponsored or features any paid promotions or products from any brands, you need to disclose this. So this is where you'd be able to add a paid promotion banner and disclosure on your video to make sure that YouTube knows that this video is sponsored. So select yes or no for this selection. And another disclosure that is actually relatively new this year is any altered content. So does your content have any like AI generated stuff that is a little sketchy? It like makes somebody appear to say something that they don't or anything. You have to disclose these things in your video by clicking yes or no. Does it contain altered content? And that final setting there is if you want to leave comments on the video. And if you do, you can actually change your moderation level if you want it to be more strict and sort of filter out profanity or things like that, or any inappropriate comments. Or if you want no moderation, you can select that as well, or just turn comments off entirely for your video. Once that finishes, you can go ahead and hit upload, and your video will instantly start uploading to YouTube, and you just need to wait a few minutes for that to process, depending on how big your video file is. Now, once your video finishes uploading, even before it's finished processing, you can actually go in and dial in a couple more settings. So if I click on the video that is pending visibility because it's not fully processed, I can make some adjustments still. So if I click this pencil icon up here, I now have the option to add this more options feature, which allows me to add some tags. So tags help with search discoverability and search engine optimization. In case somebody is going to search for your video using some different types of keywords, you can add some tags to help the discoverability of your video. It is kind of weird that from mobile devices, you have to wait until you upload to have access to add tags to your video, but it's just something you want to be aware of. And note that this is not the case on the desktop version. You can add tags right away from the desktop YouTube Studio app, but it's not the case with mobile. And when you input your tags, you're going to want to add some commas to separate each tag. So if I type in desk tour maybe like 2025 and hit comma, that's going to add a tag. And now I can add a subsequent series of tags. Alternatively, I actually really like to create all my tags in my notes folder and then just copy them in. So I'm gonna drag, click and hold, copy right there. And then I'm gonna bring these tags, I'm gonna delete this one, and paste all of the tags right away. And now that just saves me a bunch of time and I don't have to mess with the YouTube interface to try to input all of those tags. One more option they give you access to after you've already uploaded the video is changing the category type of the content. So I have people in blogs selected, but you could change your content category depending on what your video is about. Once your video is uploaded, if you did want to delete that video, dive into your studio, hit view all to view just all of your content. And then on this desk studio tour video, I'm gonna click the 3 dots on the very right of the corner, and I can delete the video right there by clicking that button, and you'll confirm that you do want to delete it, and then you just hit delete. Now, once your video does go live, there are a couple of things that you'll want to monitor to make sure that your video is optimized and performing as it should. So if you dive into your studio and click on one of your recent uploads, you'll be able to see some video performance metrics. And the first thing you'll want to check out is your rankings by views. So this is measured in a 1 out of 10 score. So a 1 out of 10 upload, like this video I clicked on right here, is the review we did about the Sony FX2. This is a 1 out of 10. That means out of our last 10 uploads, this ranks #1 in terms of views performance. So this is a good indicator to us that there was demand for this content, it's performing well, and a 1 out of 10 is a really great score. Scrolling over to another video, this is how to make YouTube videos on your phone, and this was a 5 out of 10. So right around the middle of the pack in terms of view counts. So it's not our worst performing videos out of our last 10, but it's also not our best. So this is an important metric to be aware of, just so you can kind of tell what your audience is interested in. If videos are doing 1 out of 10, 3 out of 10, these are better performing videos. And if your videos are more like 9 or 10 out of 10, that means that there's less demand from your audience for that kind of content to be produced. You just kind of want to be aware of that. Another stat that you might want to monitor would be average view duration. So this is the amount of that video that the average consumer would watch. So most people who watch this video are watching 3 minutes and 59 seconds of this video, so right around 4 minutes. And that's actually pretty on par with the rest of the videos on our channel. So you can see that green check mark that says that it's pretty typical of your viewers. And one last thing I'll mention that you definitely should measure is your click-through rate. So sometimes that's abbreviated CTR, and we can see this right here in this video. Our click-through rate is 4.1% on this video, which we can see the arrow pointing up. That means it's a little bit better than it typically would be. So 4.1% is a fairly good CTR. It's not the greatest, it's not super high, but it is decent for our channel in particular. Now, some lower click-through rates would be something like less than 1% or less than 2%. That means that a lot of people who have the opportunity to click on your video by seeing the title or the thumbnail in their YouTube browser are deciding not to click on the video and pass it up for something else. So what you can do to improve some of those click-through rates, and we actually do this all the time here at Think Media, is pivot your title idea. Maybe your first title is just not resonating with people very well. So you can pivot your title and try a different title to see if that improves the click-through rate. Additionally, you could try a different thumbnail design to see if that increases the click-through rate. But typically you wouldn't want to change your title and your thumbnail at the exact same time, because then you wouldn't know which one led to the better performance, and it's helpful to learn from these. So maybe just change one at a time, see if that improves performance, and then run another test with your title or thumbnail, whichever one you didn't do first. And speaking of getting those click-through rates up by producing better thumbnails, you can actually watch this video right here where we walk you through how to create better thumbnails by just using your smartphone. So you can check that out, and we'll see you in the next one.